Hey guys, Michael Mershon back with you again, and this is part 2 of the sexual abuse and stages of healing little mini series that I'm doing here. If you have not seen the first video, that is right up here. Go ahead and pause this. I would go watch that because this video will make a lot more sense if you understand the context of the first 3 of the stages of healing that we covered in the first video. So real quickly, who's this video to? Basically anybody that is a parent of a child that was abused, or you have a loved one that was abused and you're walking through this process with somebody that you care about. My goal with this video or these videos is to help you understand what they're dealing with and what's happening so you can better support them. And then again, I want to reiterate and really hammer home that if you were a victim, if you happen to be watching this video and you were a victim of sexual abuse, it was not and is not your fault. You are not a participant as much as you may have been told that by your perpetrator, or as much as you may feel like you are a participant. You are a victim and you never went into this willingly. So do not let anybody tell you otherwise. And then what are we going to cover in this video? We're going to cover the last 2 stages, 4 and 5, and then the bonus stage, kind of the unofficial stage 6. And then again, what does healing as an adult versus a child look like, and how those stages might differ from each other. So I'm going to quickly run through denial, bargaining, and anger just as a recap, and then we'll get into depression or sadness and acceptance, plus our bonus, which is number 6, and that is meaning. So denial, again, denial has kind of a pre-denial phase where you basically, the person just goes into complete shutdown. So it is so overwhelming to your senses and your mental state that your nervous system literally just shuts down. You essentially go into a form of shock. Once you're able to come out of that, that's when the true denial starts. You're not ready to face it. You don't know how to face it. You don't have the tools. So you are in denial. At the next stage after denial is bargaining. There's generally some acknowledgement of what has happened, or even that something might have happened. So you're not getting specifics, you're just saying generally there's some acknowledgement that something was done. And the important thing to note with this is the bargaining stage, there is nearly always an inability to accept what has happened to the person fully. So they will accept part of it, but they will not accept all of it. And there is also a tendency from bargaining to jump to forgiveness. So people want to bypass anger, depression, sadness, and go straight into forgiveness. And that is very unhealthy, though that is a common theme. So again, finishing up the recap here, anger was the last one that we covered last week. And though it may not seem like it, if you get to the point of anger, that is generally a good thing. That person is truly recognizing and acknowledging the losses that they have endured and losses that they have suffered. And that brings us into our content for this week, and that is sadness, depression. Now this stage is strictly or fully about grieving what was lost. It may not seem like it because you didn't lose a tangible person, but in a very real sense, you kind of did. You've lost your childhood. Especially if you're dealing with this as an adult who was abused as a child. You've lost years and years of your life. You've lost your innocence. You've, in a very real sense, lost the life that you could have had this never happened to you. So as an adult especially, you have to grieve the relationships that it has cost you, because it has undoubtedly dramatically changed the way you view and the amount of trust you're able to put in people. So that is the sadness, depression, and this stage is all about grieving what was lost. Now that is just a few snippets. Obviously there's many, many more things that are lost, but those are some of the common ones just to give you an example. And then acceptance. Now this is where you're going to start moving forward and actually moving past what was done. Now, it's important to note that it will always be a part of your story. That is true. The goal with acceptance is that it allows you to move past it. So you're not dismissing it and you're not removing it completely from your story. All you're doing is relinquishing the control that it has had over you. And acceptance, like anything else, is going to be a process. There's many aspects of this that you have to accept, and there's many people within this process that you need to truly forgive in order to move all the way through the healing process. And that's not going to come all at once, especially with childhood sexual abuse. It is so multifaceted that it may take you an extended period of time to truly work through everything. And that is okay. That is not to say that you have to move through it quickly, and you definitely don't have to move through it all at once. But if you can get through the acceptance and truly forgive yourself and others for the wrong that was done to you, then you will find true healing and you will find true hope on the other side. And that brings us to kind of the 6th stage of grief. And this is kind of the bonus stage. It is generally recognized, but not by everybody. So the 6th stage of grief is meaning. Now, essentially what we're going for here is giving a higher purpose or giving some meaning to the tragedy that happened to you. Now, obviously, you can't change the past for anyone. You can't change the past for yourself or anyone else. But you can help change somebody's future if you're brave enough to put yourself out there. That doesn't have to be a public forum like YouTube, social media, anything like that. It could be something as simple as just sharing your story to help spread awareness. Maybe you're walking through side by side with another parent that is dealing with this. Maybe you're walking through a loved one with this. Whatever it is for you, being able to kind of give back and use your story for good gives it meaning and ultimately will help somebody else down the road maybe change a trajectory in the future that they would have otherwise had. So I would encourage you to help spread awareness, whether you have been sexually abused or not, whether you're not, you know anybody. The reality is that it happens in every zip code, in every demographic, from the very rich to the ultra poor. Nobody is exempt from this. It's happening in churches right now, of all denominations. It's happening in schools. It's happening pretty much all around you. So if you think that you're in a bubble and you are not going to expose to this, or it's not going to touch you in some way, then I'm going to be frank, you're living in naivety. And my goal is that there is more awareness spread. So the more awareness and the lights that's brought to this subject, the less it's going to happen. And the quicker people will be able to heal from it. And it will never be completely gone, but my goal is to make a dent in it. And if this helps one person, then that was enough for me. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. Be sure and like and subscribe. If you have a story, I would love to hear about it. Leave it in the comments. If there's aspects of this video that were helpful or not helpful, I'd love those comments as well. If there's something you want to see more of in the future, please leave those in the comments as well. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. Have a great week, and I'll catch you later.